My friends, it is so great to be here with you today. I know Ministers Suds and Valdez are here. Minister Fraser will participate in a housing panel later today, and many other ministers spoke yesterday. De voir autant de gens ici aujourd'hui, que ce soit des leaders de différents organismes ou des gens qui travaillent fort dans nos communautés, ça démontre à quel point on a tous à cœur l'avenir de notre pays. When we talk about sustainable finance and social finance, we're talking about making people's lives better. I often say that the promise of Canada is that every generation can reach even higher than the one before. Well, our government is working really hard every day to secure this promise at a time of uncertainty by investing in housing and social programs, by creating good, reliable jobs, and by bringing world-leading projects to our communities. So how have we been able to mobilize capital, and how can we keep driving even more investments in the solutions that will improve people's lives and futures? Well, let's start with our strategy on clean tech. We've made it clear that Canada is the place to be for companies looking to launch big projects for everything from electric vehicles to clean energy. Companies around the world have done more than just take note, they've invested. And that's good not only for our environment, it's good for the middle class, too. Take, for example, Michelin. When Michelin invests to modernize its facilities in Nova Scotia to be able to make EV tires here in Canada, it means more good jobs in small communities like Bridgewater. La production de batteries pour véhicules électriques par Volkswagen en Ontario ou par Northvolt au Québec, ça va faire croître notre économie et contribuer à la qualité de l'air. Ces entreprises choisissent le Canada d'abord et avant tout pour nos travailleurs, mais aussi parce qu'on établit les bases pour produire des technologies propres ici au Canada. Je pense à nos crédits d'impôt à investissement pour l'énergie et les technologies propres, ou à notre nouveau Fonds de croissance du Canada créé pour attirer les capitaux privés, investir dans les entreprises canadiennes et réduire les émissions. Just last week, Deputy Prime Minister Freeland announced a first investment through the Canada Growth Fund. We're investing in Evor Technologies in Calgary, a company that has developed the first scalable technology that captures geothermal energy to produce steady and dependable heat and electricity without emissions. As you all know, protecting the environment and growing the economy go hand in hand. And this is also true with social policy. 2 years ago, we started investing to provide $10 a day childcare to families across the country, and we're now seeing that women's participation in the workforce is at an all-time high. Because, as you all know, social policy is economic policy. This is true in Canada. Yeah, that's an applause line, too. This is true in Canada, and it's true around the world. Quand on a accueilli le sommet Canada-CARICOM récemment, j'ai eu l'occasion de parler des objectifs de développement durable des Nations unies et du fait que ces objectifs sont liés les uns les autres. Prenons l'égalité des sexes, par exemple. L'égalité des sexes joue un grand rôle dans l'atteinte de beaucoup d'autres objectifs de développement durable. The latest World Bank estimates show that GDP per capita would be almost 20% higher if all gender employment gaps were to be closed. Gender equality is not only good for women and girls, it's good for the economy, too. This is another case where the right thing to do is also the smart thing to do. Ici au Canada, notre gouvernement travaille fort pour renforcer le marché de la finance sociale. En mai dernier, la ministre Gould a lancé le Fonds de finances sociales avec une enveloppe de 755 millions de dollars. En offrant un plus grand accès à du financement souple, le Fonds aide les organisations à obtenir de meilleurs résultats sur le plan social, économique et environnemental. And to help advance social innovation and social finance, we also created the Investment Readiness Program. And last week, Minister Suds announced over 400 projects across the country. One of them is the Raw Carrot, a nonprofit that makes gourmet soup and hires people living with disabilities and mental illness. This funding will help them expand and hire even more people. Now, when conservative politicians say we shouldn't invest in programs like these, it means that they think we shouldn't invest in people. But our government believes that every Canadian deserves a real and fair chance at success, and we know that by investing in people, we build the economy from the middle outwards and the bottom up, which produces real results for all, as opposed to the failed approach of trickle-down economics. The reality right now is that people are worried. People are anxious. People aren't sure how they're going to make ends meet. People aren't sure how they're going to pay the rent or the mortgage over the coming months. People see the impacts of climate change. They've been knocked around by the pandemic. They look at geopolitics, from the invasion of Ukraine by Russia to the conflict in the Middle East to the rise of authoritarian powers around the world. And they wonder if that promise of Canada is really going to hold for their kids. Is the next generation going to be able to do better than the previous generation? Because as a parent, I know that's what we all want. We want our kids to be better than we do better than we do, based on our hard work, based on what we've built and invested so that they can benefit from an even better society, even better world, even better opportunities than we had. And that's the promise that has created Canada and bound us together, taught us to learn that diversity, whether it's geographic or in stories, cultures, and language, is a source of strength, is a source of richness. We pull together in this place knowing, perhaps because of winter, more than just about anything else, that we need to be there for each other, that no one can go it alone, that this country is too big, too empty, and too damn cold to be able to thrive in a purely individualistic way. That's why even, well, until a few years ago anyway, most conservatives, well, conservative politicians, supported things like universal public health care. Because we understand in a place like this that when our neighbors do well, so do we. But right now, it's natural. It's human nature when a storm's hitting to hunker down, to hold on to those very closest to you and let the wind and the storm blow past. That's human instinct. But that's not what's going to get us through this storm. The times we are in, the changes we are facing as a world, require us to lean in together. Require us to think differently about how we operate, how we build success, how we define success. Et c'est un moment où les gens sont anxieux, ils ne veulent pas nécessairement l'entendre non plus. Ils veulent entendre que non, tout va être correct, on va tout résoudre pour vous. On a des solutions simplistes à des problèmes compliqués. Well, we all know there are no simple answers to complex questions. Everything is connected now and requires us to work in connected ways. That's why initiatives like this one, that bring people together not with a focus on just doing well, but on doing good at the same time, of understanding that every choice we make, everything we do is connected to everything else. And when it's done right, the economy is not a zero-sum game, that everyone can succeed, even in a competitive capitalist system. That's what this is about. That is why this conference has grown from a much smaller room to as many attendees now, and I know in the coming years, Ryan's going to continue to grow it and create this impact because it's something that matters, that people understand and people want to be a part of. We're still in the early days of this, but we're already seeing tremendous impacts in everything you are doing. And the nice things is the successes represented here in this room multiply as people in communities far from this room see the impacts. Oh, that was a great idea. Let's do more of this. Let's understand that we can counter the anxiety in the world by solving for the problems that people are facing, by bringing people together in compassion and understanding and optimism, by setting aside those folks who see the anger out there and just want to amplify it instead of solving for it. That's not what has gotten Canada through difficult times in the past. What do we do as Canadians? We roll up our sleeves, we lean in, we look out for each other, and we remain optimistic and ambitious about the future. And I can tell you, at seeing some of the things being discussed over this conference, hearing some of the amazing stories that are being showcased here, and absorbing the collective will of this room and rooms like it across the country and around the world to work hard and build that better world in meaningful ways every single day, I don't find it hard. Even in this time of tremendous challenges, I don't find it hard to build that optimism and that ambition for Canada and for the world. So thank you for that. Merci beaucoup, mes amis.